Sinner caught training for the first time in Dubai with HALEP. Sinner continues his preparation for the start of the season, and today he trained in Dubai with the Romanian Simona Halep, who retired from tennis at the beginning of this year and was once coached by the Australian Darren Cahill, a member of the Italian players team with whom he will also continue in 2026. Under his guidance, both Sinner and Halep, who reached the top in October 2017, became number one in the men's and women's rankings, which is why today Cahill himself posted a video on Instagram showing them training together under the title, A Duo of Champions. Throughout her career, Halep won 24 WTA titles, including 2 Grand Slams, Roland Garros 2018 and Wimbledon 2019, the same number celebrated by the Italian, champion of the Australian Open in 2024 and 2025, the US Open in 2024, Wimbledon in 2025, as well as a 2-time ATP Finals and Davis Cup champion, among others. Cahill's presence surely played a decisive role in bringing Sinner and Halep together, especially because the Romanian, suspended for doping at the 2022 US Open for 4 years, a sanction later reduced to 9 months, had questioned at the time the mild punishment, 3 months agreed with WADA, received by the Italian for his double positive for Clostebol in March 2024. Cahill also filmed another moment of Sinner's preparation that reflects the atmosphere within a team in which seriousness and jokes coexist, as well as images of an informal football match played on the beach by the world number 2, who is preparing to regain the top spot currently held by the Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz in the upcoming season. Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner receive the first warning for the Australian Open. The first Grand Slam of the season is already warming up. And some Australians like Kyrgios or Minaur are in the mood for a local party. 2025 has not yet ended, but the holidays of the great swords of world tennis are already over. And the fact is that there is just over a month left before the first Grand Slam of 2026, the Australian Open, gets underway. It will begin on January 12, and some Australians are already marking their calendars because they are eager for the local celebration. Such are the cases of Nick Kyrgios and Alex de Minaur. While the former has resumed activity after several months on the sidelines with the firm intention of returning to play on the circuit regularly, the latter is preparing conscientiously to try to put an end to the reign of Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner. At least, that is how he made it clear in his latest interview with Tennis 365. When many compare the Spaniard and the Italian with the famous Big Three and some miss that third figure for the rivalry to be similar, de Minaur himself wants to put himself forward as that third element in the equation. The world number 7 and semi-finalist at the ATP Finals wants to make that definitive leap in 2026. And the Australian Open could be his first big opportunity. It's not easy at all, but in the end we don't want there to always be 2 players who win all the big tournaments. As competitors, we don't like losing and we have to make the maximum effort to compete with them. In this sense, if he had to choose between the 2, he chooses Sinner. One of Jannik's greatest virtues is his level, which never fluctuates day after day. It's one of the most impressive things, both at a tennis level and mentally. A lot has happened this year and it hasn't affected him mentally. At Roland Garros, he was 2 sets to 1 up, he had match points and he lost. It was an incredible match and then he managed to repeat it at Wimbledon. And as an example he points to his resurgence at Wimbledon after the blow he suffered at Roland Garros. It's incredible to be able to bounce back from such a disappointment and play the way he did to win Wimbledon. It's almost as if those difficult moments hadn't affected him. They bounce off him, they stay outside the following week, and that's admirable. You have to play very good tennis from the first point to the last, that's my goal. They are at the top of our game. They have dominated the last 2 years and the goal is to keep improving and make life difficult for them. Only time will tell if someone else joins that fight for world number 1. Alexander Zverev tried but his attempt was short-lived. Even so, the German is the one who remains in 3rd position in the rankings, while Djokovic remains 4th. And that's despite the fact that the Balkan already follows a very reduced schedule. Alex de Minaur takes home a juicy prize for his latest exhibition. And while the Australian Open arrives or not, Alex de Minaur is also playing exhibition events to stay in shape and get the necessary rhythm for that first major of the season. And in a tournament organized by Muratoglu in London and part of the Ultimate Tennis Showdown, tournaments with different rules, the Australian has come out victorious and has taken $640,000 for the 3 days he spent competing on British soil. Alcaraz and Sinner talk about their rivalry. We play a fundamental role in the appeal of our sport. The Spaniard and the Italian made joint statements on the occasion of the exhibition match they will play in January in South Korea. Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner have been the absolute kings of men's tennis in 2025, and it seems that this will continue in 2026. While waiting to know the physical condition of Novak Djokovic and the absence of other rivals capable of challenging them, everything indicates that they will continue sharing the cake between them. And if seeing each other constantly in tournament finals is not enough, in fact, this year they have played a total of 6 times, 4 for Carlos Alcaraz and 2 for Jannik Sinner. Now they will meet again in an exhibition match. Specifically in South Korea on January 10, 8 days before the Australian Open. So both spoke about this match and about their great rivalry in an interview for Tennis Korea. Eager to play in front of Korean fans. Sinner, this match is a great opportunity not only for me, but also for Carlos. The simple fact of being able to play tennis in front of Korean fans is incredibly special. Another great reason is that I can regain my rhythm at least once before the Australian Open. Getting the rhythm and the feeling for the game back on court helps me tremendously in my preparation for the season. Considering all these factors, I gladly accepted this invitation. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner talk about their tennis rivalry. Alcaraz, this comparison is a real honor for me as a player. I think it means a lot that tennis fans feel the same when watching our matches. Rivalries in sport are a powerful aspect that fuels fans' interest, and I was also very inspired by the rivalry between Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer during my childhood. Jannik and I have already faced each other on many big stages and have played intense matches. We have faced each other in several Grand Slam finals, and I think we strengthen each other. With a long career ahead, I hope we can continue with this positive rivalry that will help us grow together. Sinner, rivalries are a fundamental part of our sport. In their era, there were great rivalries between Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Andy Murray, and that trend has been maintained through generations. Rivalries have always existed throughout tennis history, and I think we play a fundamental role in the appeal of our sport. That's why I'm glad to know that I am developing that kind of relationship with Carlos. Rivalries have a special meaning both for fans and players. These elements make tennis more exciting, and I'm happy to be part of it. Alcaraz doesn't find weaknesses in Sinner's tennis. Alcaraz, Jannik and I have been on the circuit since we were young and we know each other's games perfectly. There is almost nothing to hide on the court. Jannik is a player practically without weaknesses. He is powerful in attack and his defense is incredibly fast and stable. He completely dominated the 2025 season, winning 2 Grand Slams, the ATP Finals, and remaining in the fight for world number 1 until the end. Playing well against him is not enough. You have to maintain concentration throughout the entire match and there is no room for complacency. He is a player against whom you must give 100% from the first point to the last in order to have a chance to win. The challenge Sinner faces when playing against Alcaraz. Sinner, he is one of the best players on the current circuit, perhaps even the best. Playing against him is always a challenge, but it is also very fun. Every match has a completely different story and rhythm, which makes it even more exciting. He is incredibly fast, so it is difficult to get past him at any point on the court. Additionally, he is very strong mentally, playing every point as if it were the last. These are the greatest challenges I face every time I play against him, says Jannik Sinner, who, along with Carlos Alcaraz, plans to dominate world tennis for many years. Impactful message from Alcaraz about his match against Sinner before the Australian Open. The Mercian tennis player has stated that this kind of match is a great opportunity to assess his physical condition before playing the only Grand Slam he has not lifted. Carlos Alcaraz continues his vacation in Miami, enjoying his last days before returning to the court. The Mercian will play again on December 7th and 8th in the United States in 2 exhibition matches to get into rhythm ahead of the next season. In 2026, Alcaraz will seek to defend his world number 1 title and win as many tournaments as possible, with the Australian Open as his main objective since it is the only Grand Slam he still does not have in his record. To get the best rhythm ahead of the tournament, in addition to facing Francis Tiafoe and João Fonseca on the already scheduled dates, Carlitos will also play against Jannik Sinner in Seoul on January 10th. Although there has been much criticism from former tennis players about the number of exhibition matches the Spaniard plays, Alcaraz has defended himself by saying that this kind of match is a great opportunity to assess my physical condition and feel better before the Australian Open. Having the opportunity to play in front of Korean fans is incredibly motivating. Also, playing in a new environment helps me tremendously in my preparation for the season, Carlos added in an interview for Tennis Korea. In addition to justifying his match against Sinner in South Korea before playing the Australian Open, the Spaniard dedicated a few words to his biggest rival on court. Jannik and I have faced each other on many important stages and have played intense matches. We have faced each other in several Grand Slam finals and I think we have strengthened each other, Carlos said. Finally, the tennis player has said that the rivalry between him and the Italian is positive, and he hopes to continue facing Sinner throughout his career. With a long career ahead, I hope we can continue with this positive rivalry that will help us grow together, And the final message surprised all the fans. I think in the next match I will beat Sinner after making some changes in training.